Hey guys, how are we doing? Crypto Insight UK here, bringing you back another video. And to be honest, we've got quite a lot to talk about, but I want to use this video. I'm going to use the end of this video, like mid to end of this, to give you guys some thoughts as to what I think comes next and where I am in terms of the market. We do a lot of like technical analysis and I do some fundamental analysis too, but I want to give you my honest thoughts, and like I can be wrong, but we'll leave that towards like the middle to the end of the video, or I'll try and link it in as we go. But first off, this is just Bitcoin used in trading different for the liquidity pools that we talk about. And for those who don't know or need a refresher, the liquidity pools, as we look at them, is where there is a lot of leverage in the system. So, but it's where those leverages either stopped out or liquidated. So if it's below us, then that means this is where long positions will get pushed out of their position. And if it's above, it's where short positions will get stopped out or liquidated. 80% of the time, price action moves into areas of deep liquidity because it's moved by bots or whales manipulating price to move it into areas where they can either fill bigger orders or push people out of leveraged positions. So that's something to bear in mind. So there is this liquidity pool that we've been talking about for a long time at around 88k. We've just been floating above it for a while. We'll just go to Bitcoin quickly, with Bitcoin just trading within this range. So whether we get the visit to that 88k region, I really don't know. I've said this the whole time. Like, do we need to come down, literally just wick into there before we send higher? I don't know. Look, if we look at what Bitcoin did in this range, even though it ranged in this specific area for a long, long time, did have that one flush down to clear that liquidity before we ended up getting going. So potentially, yes is the answer, but also I really don't know, and I don't want to place my bets on that because, as I'll get into in a minute, I just think that we're imminently going to move upwards. We're just kind of like reacting to more macro events at the minute. And now I'm on the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin. I'm going to show you that liquidity that I just showed you there on the hourly is only this yellow patch here, whereas above us, we've got much more liquidity up towards that 128 or 130,000 ish region there for Bitcoin. So that's something to take into consideration, essentially, guys. I think we inevitably move up, but whether we move down first, I really don't know. And I'm going to continue along that vein. If we look at the Fear and Greed Index here, this is CoinMarketCap's Fear and Greed Index, what can we see? Well, we can see essentially every time we've been into this orange section in like the Fear and Greed Index, it's not necessarily been the exact low. As you can see here, we bounced and then came a bit lower, but it has correlated with where bottoms have come in. And we've been in this low, like orangey period for a long time. I say a long time, basically since, it's not showing me the date. Oh, yes, it is. Basically for like, I'd say 3 weeks we've been in this lower period, and price action is chilling out in this period as well. One of the longest times we've had in these areas. And then when we stay in these areas for a prolonged period of time, it's normally before we get that leg up. The last time we saw fear at this level, Bitcoin was at around $57,000 to $60,000. So it's worth taking that into consideration when we look at things. And there's been big market events happening, such as the Bybit hack and other things like the Libra coin, like all this sort of stuff has been going on while we've been at these like lows in fear. And price hasn't managed to make a new low, which tells me there is strength in the market, because if sellers can't push price down on big hacks, like the biggest hack in history, and also things like the Libra coin, where everyone's sort of like losing faith in different cryptos, for example, then it's probably near a low. I'm not saying that we can't go a little bit lower. I'm not saying that. So if we look at XRP, for example, I highlighted this chart with 3 green lines, and I said, look, these are all areas of liquidity. Oftentimes, like I said, like I did have this, I'll show you, if you've been watching my channel, I had like a pattern like this drawn in, something around there like this, and like that, something along those lines. And I was showing you why I think that it's because when we get these build-up of areas of liquidity, so like here's where a previous swing high was, here's a previous swing low. So what I was basically saying is, and I'm gonna show you a bit more with these green lines, is essentially, when you get these specific lows before price moves up, sometimes it just goes back down, takes the low, and then come down, bounce and go. Or it could be this low that it takes, they just go below, they stop all those people out of those leverage positions, as you've just seen. maybe do a little bit of chopping out below this area here, come back up, test it and go. So that's why I've shown you these 3 green lines. It's for anyone who might be looking at areas of interest as to where we might come. When we get those big areas of liquidity, it's just below them where I think the price probably heads to, as I've said, because that's where like the stop losses are. So look, use this for an example. The reason I drew this first wave up like this before I thought we were going to continue is because look, we had this swing high here, we came up, we took the liquidity above it, and then now we're looking either to take the low below or continue higher. Before it could go like this, we could go and take the liquidity above it again and then come below. So that's what I'm saying basically. Like those areas are where people have their stop losses. So if someone's in a short, they'll have their stop loss above here. If someone's in a long, they probably have their stop loss below here. Maybe they have their stop loss below this wick here. I don't know, like it seems like a bit of a big move to me. I don't think personally we come that low, but I've been wrong before. However, I would compare that low there to what it was like on Bitcoin in this other range. I'll show you what I mean. I would compare the low. So imagine the low that you just saw on XRP there. I don't know if I did it too fast, but we'll go back to it in a second. So we'll just look at Bitcoin quickly. I compare it to this sort of low. So there's this range. You're ranging around for Bitcoin. You're just chopping about within a range, making slightly lower lows, and you come down to this area here. That's the low that I'm comparing on XRP, and we don't, as you can see, we don't actually sweep that low again. Let's show you what happens with XRP. Look, go back to XRP. That's the low look there. So look, we come into a range, we're chopping about in the range, we take the lows of the range, we bounce back up, and then are we looking to make a higher low and bounce and continue? Or do we have to do something like this? Let's just see. Oh, goodness sake, I've gone back too many times. Are we going to make a bounce like this? Are we going to come down into this area, then come up, then bounce, and then go? Maybe, because we've got those 3 areas of liquidity that would be cleared there and into support. So that's, hopefully you can understand and see why we talk about these areas as traders, but also analysts. That's why I've drawn these lines out for you. That's why I talk about these areas. And realistically, no one knows. It's not like trading isn't a perfect art. What it actually is like statistical. It's just statistical play. It's like poker. If you play poker, you can have a 60% statistical advantage, but it can still go to the 40%. But if you play the statistics over time, you'll come out on top. And that's what trading is. It's not a perfect sport. It's not a perfect art. So that's just what to bear in mind. And obviously, the better you are in terms of holding your emotions, but also finding entries and looking at key areas, the maximum you can get in terms of return, like positive EV essentially. So what I was going to say is, where do I think we are? I think we are very close to seeing an expansion. I really do think XRP leads it. I personally believe XRP probably goes towards like $8 to $12 imminently. I think March is going to be a good month. I think March, between now and end of March, I do think XRP probably goes above 5, maybe towards the 8 to 12 in that period. Like, I just think it's imminent. I don't know why. We've been ranging like this for a long time. I can tell you why exactly that I feel like that, but I don't know why I think it's going to be in March. We've been ranging above previous all-time highs for weeks now. Letting everything cool off in terms of indicators, but holding strong above all-time highs. The same with XRP dominance, XRP Bitcoin, XRP ETH. We're just chopping around at the highs. Yes, we could reject, but oftentimes when we have seen rejections from these highs, look, if we hit resistance, it does come pretty quick. Here, yes, okay, you can say it didn't, but that wasn't really after a long period of accumulation. It was just sort of a dead cat bounce on the way down. Every time we've hit resistance, it's been a quick rejection realistically, or a high percentage rejection, and we haven't seen that this time. What we've seen is bounce up into a key area of resistance and just chop just below that area, essentially, that's XRP, that's ETH Bitcoin, just essentially building strength, in my opinion, to just to have that next break while giving things a few seconds to cool off. So basically, I think that we're going to go towards probably $5 in March, maybe higher at $8 to $12 very soon. And I really recommend reading my weekly insight newsletter that came out on Saturday, because I talk about the potential for my take profit plans and how they might have changed. It's completely free to read. Because I think XRP has now actually started to integrate an aspect of utility. Obviously, we know about the utility of XRP anyway, but in crypto, we bet on speculative price action based on things that could come in the future, whereas XRP, I think, is now starting to step into that utility sort of that value/utility sort of category, and I don't think I see many other cryptos, if any, at the minute doing that. So I don't really know what that means for price action. And I will play everything openly to you guys. I don't charge you for anything. I'm here to give you my opinion and my thoughts. I hope that you do understand where I come from. I'd love you to read that newsletter because I just write my thoughts down there. And I'm going to leave this video here. I just wanted to discuss with you guys what I think is coming. There's nothing that I think is really concerning at the minute. Well, obviously there's loads of potential catalysts, but again, there always is in crypto or finance in general. Nothing that I can see that's extra concerning. I think that we've had some big FUD, as in massively negative news, and price hasn't moved down. Oftentimes that's showing you that the market's stronger than people perceive, and emotions in the market are running high, yet price hasn't really done anything. Like a few percent here and there is just crypto, isn't it? Like anything can happen. If you've been here for a while, you know that. So yeah, if you want to take leverage positions, obviously be careful, but I have a link to MEXC in the description below. Be great if you guys would use that. If you want to trade XRP memes, I haven't talked about them for a while, but I will soon. I'm thinking about adding some more, to be honest, because I do think that although I don't love memes, as you guys know, I have bought loads of XRP memes a while ago. And I do think as people get rich within any ecosystem, money flows around that ecosystem. I don't need to go into a lot of detail. Another asset that I've been looking at a lot is Flare. I'm going to do a bit of TA actually. Someone's been asking me about this for a while. I'll just give you my short term. I've got nothing really to say about it. Again, Flare, similar to everything else, is within a range. I think it's in a broadening triangle here. And I think that probably at some point it breaks out to the upside, but no one really talks about any asset that's not doing anything in price. In terms of price action, I think as soon as it starts to see positive price action, if XRP starts to take another leg up, F assets are on the way. I think Flare's got a good chance of exploding to the upside as well as a low market cap sort of beta play on XRP. A big Flare holder. If we come down to this grey area here, I'll probably buy some more, to be honest. And that's as much as I can say. There's nothing else I really need to say about it. Everything's kind of similar. Alts that are lower market cap are taking a bigger beating, but if you believe in the project and you believe in that asset and it's trying to do something, then it's probably not a bad thing to allocate to. I'm personally staying away from generic meme coins on Solana and all this sort of stuff because I've only ever been wrecked when I've played in that sphere. So yeah, that's where I stand. It's the catalyst could come tomorrow that makes us go higher. It could come in a week, could come in a month. I really don't know, but I do think it's imminent. I've said that for a little while. And when you look back on this period, it won't seem like a long time, in my opinion, especially if we get the explosive price action that every other cycle has had. People are saying we're not going to get it. I don't agree. I think it's coming. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, please do like and let me know in the comments and share it with a friend. It helps me out. It's free to do. Peace up. A-Town down, as Crypto Insight UK would say.